Hello, good morning everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar. Today we are presenting webinar on Build Your Employment Marketability with Your Professional Image and Brand, which has been organized by Applied Science and Humanities Department of Parul Polytechnic Institute, Parul University. The main agenda of this webinar is to know how to build employment marketability with professional image and brand before graduation. I, Vaishali Nathwani, would like to introduce today's guest speaker, a certified image consultant, the founder and owner of brand activist consultancy, Ms. Vivmini Love from Malaysia. She has close to 2 decades of corporate and leadership experiences ranging from audit consultancy in public accounting firm, corporate finance role in local listed company, and pioneering and other diverse key finance roles in US-based multinational companies. Throughout her career journey across various industries, she has been highly valued for her strength as effective communicator, versatile and dynamic personality, which drive high level of customer and stakeholder satisfaction, and a leader who genuinely committed to grow people by maximize their potential. She has been positively appraised by the management team for her effective personal branding and substance in accountability, building trust, effective communication, and people orientation. And this has been differentiated her from other working peers and achieved favorable fast track successes in corporate world. She is a firm believer of we rise by lifting others. She has also contributed to the path of transforming lives as corporate trainer and image consultant. Till date, she has conducted various training and speaking engagements to Intel, Jabil, Western Digital, Micron Technology, Great Eastern Agency Group, and many more. It's a privilege to welcome you, ma'am, and you can
Thank
start with
you.
the session.
Thank you, Mrs. Pasari, and also thank you so much for Mr. Herma to connect with me in LinkedIn and also give me this opportunity. So, Happy New Year to everyone. For
Happy New Year.
viewers, yeah, from Facebook and also, four of us here today in the Google Meet to host for this webinar. So, without further ado, let me quickly share my screen and we will start off our conversation today. I think this is the right time to actually talk about this because it's a brand new year and every one of us, are so eager to make a good change and a good start for the year of 2022. Just in case any one of you are getting ready to complete your studies soon and be ready to find your first job very, very soon. All right. So today our topic will be around how can we start to build our marketability even before graduation? Because nowadays the world is so competitive, right? We couldn't be just wait until you finish your studies and after you have your resumes, after only starting to build for your connection and visibility. It will be a little bit too late. So today we are going to talk about why your professional image and brand are so important for us, and also some key tips on how we can quickly immediately put into some small actions today after this webinar so that it could help you, hopefully can help you build certain good level of connections, readiness, and also visibility in the job market so people will hear about you and wanted to actually talk to you for a career opportunities. All right. So without further ado, let us actually get started from here. I'd like to start, just explain a little bit more about myself. Thank you, Mrs. Pasari, for explaining such a detailed background about myself. So I was working as a qualified accountant for so many years, but I realized that my passion is really helping people to transform themselves because in my almost close to 20 years of working experiences in US companies, I realized there are many people working so hard and they are really having very good working capability, but they somehow can't really secure a very good promotions or maybe increment opportunity. It's because they are good, but they only know it by themselves. but not many others, especially the management people, know how good they are. So that's the reason I'm really passionate to help. In the past, I helped my employees to get their deserved promotions and increments. And now I expanded my coverage even more, to even help more people in the job market, regardless of locations and also, geography, to be able to brand ourselves, in a different way, so people will know how good we are. And I'm a firm believer that every one of us would probably start as a hidden gem. So every one of us are good by nature. So we are good in our own way. We are good in certain skills, certain studies, certain subject. But you know what? Knowing, we are good by our own is never enough. So we need to be able to know how can we actually tell people that we are good in certain way, even without telling that, just tell subtly. So very fortunate today that I would like to discuss this topic together with you. All right. Okay. So first of all, I would like to share with you a little bit of my career journey first. So I came from a very humble beginning families that I see how struggle my both parents are trying to find money to raise us up. To be really honest, we are rather poor at the beginnings and also when we are studying. So you know what? None of my parents speak English. So English is not my mother tongue. I never speak English until I reach, perhaps during the study time, and I couldn't really speak fluent English until reaching the age of around 20 when I was studying in college. So I would like to show you my career journey. But I'm not intending to let you know, to convince you how good I am. But I have a different message for you, but bear with me first, all right? So I started in the year of 1999, almost like 21 years ago, that, I just finished my high school and I wanted to further study in college. But my parents have no money to sponsor me there. So very fortunate, I met a good teacher to help me to get a scholarship, a full scholarship, to be able to study in one of the local college in Malaysia. They're providing a twinning program with a Australian university degree. So that changed, whole of my life. And at the same time, after graduated from, the training program, that bachelor in accountancy, I gotten a good opportunity to join one of the public accounting firm called Ernst& Young, and people call it Big Four during the time, because I was really aiming to become a qualified accountant. So getting through a public accounting firm, it's one of my target. So people telling me there's too many, application letters and, given a people just normal like me, I won't be able to get a seat in there. But I never settle for less. I still go for it. And, there are some tips and tricks that I'm using so that help me to get a good opportunity to be employed by Ernst& Young. I'm going to tell you in a little while. And after that, after completing my 3 years with public accounting firm and gotten my apprenticeship done, I joined a local listed company that, I'm exposed to a lot of the listing requirements and also the board meetings and all those corporate finances, kind of work. It's so interesting. And I have the opportunity to even learn about the forward contracts and everything. And after that, I joined a US-based company called Altera and subsequently get acquired by Intel. And I spent almost more than 10 years in that company. And you know what? This kind of opportunity also opening up a lot of, opportunities that I would never imagine of. Because of this employment with this US company, I have the privilege to visit the US for job assignment and also for those, business travel for almost close to 8 times over the past 10 years and all that. And I got the opportunity to witness through how Americans are working, how's their working culture be, and I'm still able to see worlds around a little bit from there. And from the year of 2019, I actually gather all my experiences and also the exposure that I would like to get already, and I come out to become the professional image and branding coach so that I'm able to influence and also help more people to set up and also to build their, kind of like promising professional image and brand. So I wanted to tell you, my ability, and I'm so blessed to be able to achieve all this, not because I'm the only best in the market. To be really honest, I work hard. I'm really working hard in my studies and the work that I'm doing, but I don't think I'm the only best person in the market. If I only wanted to compete with people in terms of, how best my academic result would be, and also how best my working capability only, that's not enough. And I would like to share with you the strategy and the secret that helping me to achieve all this. Given my parents are nobody, they are, we are coming from a very normal and very humble beginnings. We know no one that can connect me to any opportunity. But there's one thing that I never stop doing that helping me to achieve what I'm able to achieve today. My secret is I really take care of my professional image and brand. So I will never settle to brand myself just a very normal and just a very common kind of employees, but I always try to blend in all those elements in my daily life, no matter whom I'm talking to, whom I'm interacting to. I always putting so much effort in creating my right brand to people. So every one of us that if you're viewing this webinar today, trust me, every one of us are so special and we are, our own gem in our own way. Perhaps you're good in accounting, perhaps you're good in teaching, perhaps you are good in engineering. Every one of us are good in our own way. But it really depends on whether how well we can tell other people who are we, what is our brand, and why they should actually give us an opportunities in the competitive markets if compared to others. So if you can see the picture here, don't be just settled as as a very normal kind of like a cup of normal coffee. You deserve to be a very promising and also highly valued kind of like product of our own, because we are our own brand. All right, so before we going further, I would like to explain a little bit to you using the example of a coffee brand to see what is branding. So I think branding itself, right, it's only come to pretty frequent this recent years. In the past, in layman term, we always call it reputations, which is how people perceive about us. But I would like to actually let you know what would be the key elements that will be contributing to our branding. Either it becomes to a brand of a product brand, or it would be applicable the same to a brand of a people like us. So, for example, for the example of a coffee like Starbucks, right? So the branding of Starbucks itself, it's basically everything that a customer like us interacting with this brand, whether it's through the way we see their shop, their restaurant, their waiter, and how they dress up, their renovations, their furniture, or it could be when we are visiting to Starbucks to buy ourselves a coffee. How we interact with the with their waiter, or maybe their barista, how we talk to them and how we feel about the whole ambience and scenario where we are in the shop itself and enjoying a cup of coffee, and including the quality of the cup, when they pass it to you, whether they will say thank you to you for your for your support, or maybe when you're holding the cup, what is the the feelings of holding it, whether it will be too hot for you or will be just nice. It's about every touch points that we are able to connect with the brands. And because of that, we have certain emotions and feelings and thought about these particular products or brands. So if we are talking about people, it will be still the same. Whenever we are interacting with people, whether are you interacting with your lecturers in school, whether are you interacting with potential, interviewers that, interviewing you for the job, it's about how people think about you from the interactions in various ways with you. So that would be branding. Do you know, even for the most successful product in the world, branding cannot be bought, because nobody is going to pay you certain money and say, hey, please tell me something good about Starbucks. No, it's about, branding is about how all the consumers, also people who see and viewers, right, they feel about you, genuinely from their heart. Okay. Another one will be brand identity. So sometimes when we are we like to actually survive and stand out throughout the very competitive markets. We want people to remember us, not only feeling comfortable with us, but also able to remember us in a good way. So, those big products like Starbucks and all that, they have a good way, like, they have their logos, they have their corporate colors, they have their certain designated colors of furnitures that, will be always almost the same throughout their branches all over the world. So it would somehow educate people. When people are seeing a logo with a mermaid in a green color, people would naturally think about Starbucks, this brand. So it will be also the same to people. So what would be our brand identity so that people, when seeing us, will be tends to be able to remember us for a longer time. And also whenever people are mentioning certain opening of the job and all that, people will actually remember certain names from certain faculties, or perhaps certain community, that if you will be remembered, the chances that you will be exposing to much more opportunities than others that doesn't will never be remembered. So brand identity is something. It could be your visual, it could be the way that you are presenting yourself, or it could be some kind of like life philosophy that you've been sharing and you've been preaching for your life and all that, that make people remember about you. But identity itself is mostly applicable for visual elements. All right. So people are asking me that last time, all the time, many years ago, people keep on talking about marketing, but only lately we're talking about branding. So I wanted to actually share with you some differences between marketing and branding. To be really honest, I think we need both for nowadays situation. But marketing and branding, right, there's still a difference that you would like to understand more. So for the same example of Starbucks, so if Starbucks only taking care of the marketing, then Starbucks will have to always go out there and tell people, hey, try our coffee. Our coffee is really good. And you will regret if you never try even once. Try. You won't be regret and for that. Yeah. So, but if we are doing branding goods, branding have a lot of more powerful elements, of people would actually pass by mouth and people will be referring to some or another. People were talking about it, right? And if you're doing branding right, your customer will be thinking about, I heard Starbucks coffee is really good and of premium quality. So I must try one day. Even though they don't have any promotion right now, it's okay. I just want to try one day. So I can know how good really is, and whether it is something that how other people describing about it or not. So of course this is for Starbucks, but what about people like us? Yes, we have to actually tell people, connect with people and also communicate to people that what are the key strengths that we have that we are able to contribute. That's marketing. But we also need to do our branding right. So after we interacting with more people, throughout the interviews or maybe some, final year projects, right? People will remember you. People will talk good things about you. And when they're doing all the referral, you stand for a better chances for your marketability if compared to someone that never appears to anyone's mind, or never been heard by anyone. All right. So with that, I also wanted to maybe give yourself like a 10 seconds. I would like to ask all the viewers, from Facebook or any one of us cross path today, if you're ever going for an interview very soon, what do you think is the brand that your interviewer are thinking or maybe hearing about you? Give you a few seconds. I would like you to, have a quick thought about it. All right. So if you can't think of any, it's okay, because I believe most of us are starting from nothing. Because perhaps we already communicate our brand in some way, subtly, unknowingly, but somehow whether or not we can actually create a very consistent and strong message, there are some hard work need to be done. It couldn't be just naturally happen in that way. We need some strategy. We need to know what are the areas that would help us to build a promising brand, and that's where we are going to discuss in details today a little bit. All right. So if you don't have any solid brand that in your mind, no worry. Let's get through for the rest of the slide, and we are going to figure out how can we actually help that, right? So many people are actually telling me that, we are just normal people. We are not celebrities. So why we should actually take care of my professional image and brand? So my perspective will be, don't ever think professional image and brand are only applicable for those high ranking people or maybe celebrities. It is actually starting from our daily life, and I wanted you to remember this ABCD that I'm actually showing here. So professional image in the past has been always interpreted that, oh, you wanted to actually show up very presentable, just change the way you wear your clothes. It is not comprehensive enough. Yes, clothing and the visual elements are important, but it's not the only things we should be, doing. It is actually a very complete elements of ABCD that I'm going to share with you, in details. Number one, A is for appearance. Okay, so appearance, it would be somehow how people are seeing you externally when they actually see you in person, face to face, or maybe nowadays people start seeing you online. It could be just a webinar like this. It could be just a Zoom meetings for you to meet up with different people, or maybe people are visiting to your social media accounts, and how people are seeing you from the appearance. And it is not about how expensive your clothes are. It's not the case. At the minimum, we should strive for neat, clean, and also respecting. Respecting means you will be dressing up according to occasions, because just attending a normal day in school versus having an important presentations day to your lecturer, it have a different occasion. So you got to understand what is the occasions behind and also your purpose behind, in order for you to really dress up according to the occasion. And sometimes when you're attending certain event, you might want to also respect the dress code, whether it's business professional, smart casual, business casual, and all that. So able to understand what is expecting of you from the way you dress and all the visual elements, including your clean face, your neat hairstyle, not messy one, and also how you mix and match with the whole attires are not like clashing or maybe putting too much things on your body like Christmas tree. So it would be very important, because the appearances will be the first element that reaching to people's eyes, and I'm going to share with you more, because that impacting the first impression in a very heavy manner. All right. So appearance is also meaning like when people are seeing you from the external side, from everything people are seeing you, people are already making an assumption and also perception about you. So if you are someone that very hardworking, you will try your very best in doing everything that you want to do. You have scoring good academic result, right? Make sure you got to align with your visual elements. Because when we are dressing too sluggish, or perhaps we never comb our hair, we never take care of hygienic, right? People naturally cannot link you to a high performance in working or maybe in your studies and all that, because people always have a lot of stereotyping affecting how they think. Normally, if you dress up neatly, smartly, people would naturally think that you are most probably emerging to become a better student or maybe a better worker. So be careful and strategize well for your appearance. As I mentioned, it's not about how expensive of your clothes. Generally, it's very important to, dress up clean, neat, and also dress according to occasion to show respect to your host and also to yourself. All right. So this is for appearance. Let's move to B. B for behavior. So behavior is also very important. It actually refers to a lot of manners and etiquette when we are interacting with people. So when we are talking to people, when we are working together with people, maybe for your final year projects or whatever assignment together. So how you interact with people say a lot of things about us. We can always tell people, yes, I'm a good student. I always cooperative. I respect my lecturers and all that. But when you were interacting with people, Are you showing your respect in the way that when you see people, did you greet people? When you see people for the first time, did you offer handshake? During the non-COVID time, I know currently we can't do it, right? So, and also, whenever you are, going out for some of the dining things and all that, are you showing your proper dining etiquettes when you are having the business lunch or maybe having a dining opportunity with people? It's all say, a lot of things about us. There's no point for us to dress up professionally, but when we are dealing with people, people feeling not comfortable to mingle around with us. Because one of the best strategy that we can have is we are able to drive very comfortable interactions and also relationship with people through our social skill. We know what to do, we know what to not talk and what to mention more, and how to respect people, and especially respecting according to seniority, to age, and also to gender. So this is very important. C is actually for communication. So I believe this is not the first time you'll be hearing communication are so important. Not only for you that who are ready to get a job, it's basically important in our daily life. Whether are we dealing with our families, or maybe dealing with our students, or perhaps in school or in office. So communication is also one of the way, right? Even though you take care of your A, appearance, B for behavior, but if you're not able to communicate with people effectively, it will also stop us to become successful, because you might have a lot of good ideas, good knowledge in your head. But what about when you're about to, tell people and people can't understand us, or perhaps, the way we communicate, people hear, just few sentences, people already feel very agitated with us, people feeling angry. Maybe it's because the way we speak, or maybe the tone of voice that we are using. People just don't feel like comfortable to continue listening to us. Then, regardless how good we are in our heart and in our mind, we can't really get our message across, and we can't drive result. So communication is also very important. At the minimum, speak energetically, and also speak, precisely. Don't go, kind of like talking too much of the lengthy kind of explanation. Just straight to the point will be really good. And also always maintaining a very good manners when we're speaking to people is too important for us, because speaking is one of the very key ways for us to connect to the right opportunities. And I would like to move into D now. D is for digital presence. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about that, because I think this is pretty important, especially for now. Online world has become an era or platform that none of us can escape. In the past, if without pandemic and without COVID, right, a lot of us are still preferring face-to-face if we have chance, because face-to-face offering us a lot of good opportunity to build relationship with people. We can catch the body language from the audience, and we can build relationship even better and faster. But you know what? The current situation, and also because of the COVID and pandemic, all of us, we have no choice but start embarking into a new era that moving forward, it's all about online work. We still have face-to-face for any local interaction, that'll be definitely true, but you can't avoid anymore for, to be able to strive in the online world. So nowadays, our digital presence becomes so important. Have you heard about the quote that if your interviewer or maybe your hiring manager Google your names before they wanted to call you for a job interview, if your names never come out in the online world, you will be most probably will be regarded as somehow invisible in the online world. And don't ever think that because of the complexity in the on the cybersecurity, being invisible is a good thing. I don't think so, because currently people are trying to find out who are we, what is our background, what is our upbringing process, what is our reputations. Mostly are done online. So people will be searching through your social media accounts like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or maybe LinkedIn, trying to find, who are you before they even call you for an interview session. So it is so important nowadays that you got to really able to build good impressions and perceptions from the online world as well. So a few key things that we can easily avoid is try to take care of our content and our pictures that's showing on online world, because you won't know anything that we posted to the online world, right? It's no longer personal. We can set certain, security level, but to be really honest, there are a lot of cybersecurity situations and all that. It can't really guarantee you, absolutely kind of secure manner that only viewable by you. So be careful about how you present yourself in your social media, even though it is a leisure accounts like your Facebook and also my Instagram. Take good care of it and trying to present yourself positively, trying to avoid all those negative image that will be associated with your brand and with your image. That could be, something could be actually pulling your legs when you wanted to find for a good job, a good offer when after you're graduating. And after that, not only taking care and not doing anything wrong in on the online platform, you also need to start building your connections in the virtual world in a positive manner as well. So I'm going to talk to you about what would be the minimum, requirements if you are actually curating or maybe creating your LinkedIn profile later on in a while. Okay, so this is the ABCD that none of us can escape. It's not really only applicable for you who are actually getting ready to find for a job. Even though you're an experienced executive that would like to get another job for better opportunities, or people like us, like myself, that would like to actually also continue to build my business, that across different regions and location, it will be equally important for any one of us for coming future. And don't ever think we need to do all the big things, big change in order to come up with a professional image. Sometimes when we start with the right small little things every day, like, when you're dressing up to your school, you're taking out of appearance, when you're talking to people, trying to respect people more by showing more manners, talk better, and also starting to curate your LinkedIn profile from day in, day out. Every time, every day, just a little small habits, it could give you, a result that you couldn't be expecting after some time. So professional image is about A, B, C, D. All right. So why do we need to really take care of this? Because when we are talking about business and also external world, which is there are so many people out there competing for the same job with us and all that. You know what? Our bosses, our external people, right, doesn't have time like our parents and also our good friends, right, will come and actually spend more time to understand who you are. Oh, you are you call bakar, so you are someone that very good in engineering. Oh, you are quiet, but let me understand you. Perhaps you are someone that really low profile, but you are very good in your own area. But nobody have time to understand you in that manner. So people will just see you talk, have a few conversation with you, and they will only look at the tip of your iceberg, which is your appearance, your behavior that they observe, and also in social media, it's about your written content. And people already making assumption about you, whether they wanted to give you the opportunities or maybe they would just give the opportunity to others. And what people normally don't see in a very kind of fast-paced world, it's our inner values, understanding, influences, belief, and etc. So it's our responsibility to help others understand how good we are and who we are. Don't really sit there and just hoping that one day somebody will come and discover how good we are. It will be too late. And when you're doing that, a lot of your peers have already do much more better and faster than you in many sense already. So we owe ourselves a responsibility to communicate our brand. So before we start everything's right, because branding is our daily task and we're dealing with people repeatedly, but I wanted to let you know what constitute about our first impression. So if you're never able to take care of our first impression, it will be already closing up a lot of opportunity door for us because, every first time, when we are knowing somebody, talking to somebody, the first impression really count. So only for first impression, your visual constitute 55% of the whole perceptions and impression building. And do you know how fast first impression can be formed? It will be as fast as 7 seconds. So sometimes before we even, able to start to tell people, hi, my name is Vimy, people when observing, from my visual and also everything else, people already form an impression about Vimy already. Right. So, but this is only applicable for first impression more. So when you are meeting people that you already, know for quite some time, definitely the ABCD will be still applicable. For first impression, 55% is really through visual. Do you know there are a lot of good opportunities just slip through from our hands? It's because we don't really show an aligned visual image about this. So dress up properly, politely, and according to dress code and occasion becomes so important. And secondly, very surprising. Sometimes when we are meeting new people, we are so careful about should I say this word, should I not say this word, and all that. But to be really honest, somehow for first impression perspective, first impression, first timer, the word that you are picking up to use, right, may not be that important as long as we are not saying something bad or something wrong, to be really honest. But as long as it's a positive words, please don't spend too much time on thinking should I picking a very bombastic words versus a simple words, because verbal is only accounted for 7%. But rather than taking care of your verbal, which is your vocabulary and the word they're using, why not actually invest more on your vocal impression? Vocal means how your tone of voice, your the pitch of your voice, whether are you high pitch or low pitch, also your tonations, your tone and your intonation throughout the speaking. So are you someone that, hi everyone, my name is Vimy, or are you talking about, hi everyone, good morning to you, my name is Vimy? So that actually really making a big difference to you. So but these are the areas, right, you might want to actually having more self-reflection, because if we have been so used to talk in a very monotonous way, right, we may not be able to find out and maybe discover this is us. So talking to a few friends to get some feedback and try to reflect more when you are talking, try to get more variety into your intonations. It will really help for us to capture the attentions, the good attention coming to you, and also starting to create a good impression about you. Because if you can actually create a good impression, you will open up a lot of subsequent opportunities, because people will decide whether they will give you another 30 minutes to actually tell them what is your major, what is your studies, or what is your strength and skill, to decide whether you'll be getting these job opportunities, or maybe an opportunity to attend interview or not. All right. So this is for first impression. And many of you, if you are from Paro Polytechnics or university that you're still studying, I just wanted to also emphasize this to you, that don't ever think because you are newbies, you are just fresh grad, brand and image are not applicable to you. Because you know what, when we are just starting off with our career, right, we are always at a very low experience level like this. Right? So studying and working are so much different, because studying is only giving us the knowledge, the basic knowledge for us to know what to do. But at working, there's so much thing that we need to learn along the way. But you know what? When we are having a low working experience at the beginning, right? Maybe on your first 3 years, maybe on your first year, if you already struggle to learn a lot, but if we still not investing enough in terms of a professional image, which is the ABCD that we just mentioned, I would say we are at a kind of like high risk zone, because we may be easily replaceable, or could be there will be many other people that would be better than us, that would be gotten the very limited opportunity. But if you are fresh, but if you are willing to take care of your image and branding, right, you know what, it will become your interim values. So people will say, yeah, yeah, A is a new, college graduate. But you know what? Every time when I dealing with him, right, he's so energetic. He always dress up very professionally. When he talk to me in a very logical and diplomatic way, yeah, I like him. I would like to get him into my project group, and also I would like to have an opportunity to help him or her roam out according to the career journey. So when we are at the low experience kind of mode, don't worry, everyone start with that. But if we can come up with our brand and image, right, it could be our very valuable interim value. People will know that this is the reason that we worth to be grow in many ways. All right. So this is, the first part of it that basically telling us why our professional image and brand are so important to us. Whether you are newbies, whether you are seasonal employees that would like to change for a new job. So the second part I would like to get into job search. So job search, which means that you are almost getting ready to attend for your first interview. You like to start going all out to find for a job for a job market, right? So it is a very interesting journey. Every one of us starting with that. I can assure you, after 20 years later, like me today, I think during the first few years, it is a very interesting journey that I learned a lot. And I also get hitting to the walls a lot as well, but not everything's worth it and happened for a reason when I recall back during that time. So there are three things that I would like to actually share with you today on how we can ace our employment marketability. Number one is connection and visibility. So I know you are graduating soon. You're an engineer, a graduating engineer, or maybe accountant, or maybe certain other profession. But you know what? If people really don't know you and don't know your existence, how people can able to connect you with a job? Right. So in the past, during my time, 20 years ago, I don't have LinkedIn. I don't have, social media accounts. I can only perhaps do in Job Street or maybe certain kind of like, marketed kind of like those job searching kind of app or maybe website for me to can upload my resume there and, and hope for the best to be actually selected. But to be really honest, that kind of like trying, you will need quite a long time in order to get a very well-deserved opportunities. But nowadays, every one of you are actually well benefited from the online world, because even today I'm not staying in the same country like all of you, but I'm still able to connect with you through different pathway and platform like LinkedIn. So be sure you got to start actually building your connections and visibility so that there were more people knowing who are you, who is your strong skills, and what can you contribute to a job, or maybe how can you contribute in that manner. So connection and visibility starting to become so important, and not only limited to offline. Please also invest your visibility and connection through online work. I will going to talk about in details in a while. The second thing is whenever you got a chance to actually attend a job interview, whether it's for your internship serving or maybe for your real full-time job that you would like to land into, there are some tips that you need to be aware of when you are interviewing. I'm going to share with you a little bit more in details later on as well. And after that, job performance. So many of you could actually start your first job as an intern first because it would be part of your university requirements. And a lot of big companies, they like to engage you as an intern first, or maybe trying you out as a graduate trainee first to see how good you are before they actually offer you a full-time job. So please ensure that you will put in your very best in any of your internship or maybe a project job, so that you will leave a very good impressions and perception about you, so that the people in the company, when they have a new openings, your names and your face will be remembered first before anyone that come applying through their open market kind of application. So these three areas, it's remain pretty important for you to ace your employment marketability. So let's go through the number one, connection and visibility. There are two ways for you to really can do that. So I'm going to talk one by one. For offline, in the past, it is very important for us to get if you are connecting pretty well with your lecturer, or maybe connecting well with your senior that have already, having a chance to work with you for project, but you already graduated and already got a job, right? It would be very important to always ask for a referral letter from anyone that who have a chance to deal with you. It could be your teacher, your lecturer, or maybe reviewer of certain, voluntary job that you are doing. Get a referral for all the good things and the good skills and strength that you have. It will be very important because people normally trust independent, referral comments more than how, we actually keep on talking anything's good about ourselves, because it's more, independent in that way. And also, even you are actually still in studying, right? You can always feel free starting to join certain membership to some association like accountancy, or maybe engineering, or maybe certain, marketing associations and all that, that relevant to your profession and also to your professional role titles and identity. Because when we become part of the membership of your association, you will know more people from the same industry. And if you can contribute in certain voluntary works and also involvements, you will be able to connect with different people, learn so much. And when people are able to speak good things about you and able to offer you to connect to certain opportunity, you'll be also stand for a better chance, right? And also networking group, trying to go all out to know more people. And offline is very important to create positive online branding via your social media. Please be careful about your, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat or whatever. Try to always, because social media are pretty public, people are able to search you out by your names or whatever, right? So you got to really be careful about maintain a very good impression and perception from there. And lastly, very important, if you haven't got your LinkedIn accounts, please immediately after today is the new year, 1st January, please go and actually create your own one. Because for all those, job and employment and job marketability, it's less relevant to your Facebook and also perhaps more leisure kind of platform. It is still possible, but the chances will be kind of lower. But LinkedIn will be the applicable one that you might want to actually curate your presence there. So you have to set your profile pictures, your academic results, and your background of your education, your strengths, and also start connecting to different people that will be helpful for you, like, headhunters. It could be certain, executive or maybe some seniors that that already in certain company that you are interested to join, or could be some industry expert that you can follow from there so you can learn a lot. So start curating and investing, on your online is very important from there. All right. So at the minimum for your LinkedIn, please show your decent profile picture of you, because with profile picture, you will be actually showing out much more convincing and kind of like showing more credibility if compared to no picture. Education accreditations, your studies, your keys, your key scoring subjects, your core skills, and also getting, if possible, get all your recommendations and testimonial in LinkedIn so that people will be actually able to, see that and refer that when people are looking for you. And also any of the awards or recognition that you are getting along your study and also along your college journey. So this is more to connection and visibility. Remember the keywords that nobody is willing to give us an opportunity if people doesn't know we are existing. So reach out to more people and also, connect with more people. It would actually give, enlarge our chances to be considered whenever there is, very good opportunity of the job out there. And whenever you are attending for an interview, right? So these are the 5 tips that I would like to share with you, and all the 5 colors that I put in here. There's some reasons and objective behind. Okay, so let me explain one by one. Number 1 is you got to dress according to your applied role. So if you are going for a very highly creative role, like maybe graphic designer or maybe fashion designer, then I won't be asking you to dress up in a full suit, with ties and all that. You could be actually dressing something much more leisure, but showing your creativity side. But if you are going for a corporate job, like you're going for interview for an auditor, for an accountant, definitely you got to dress up very professionally. A full suit would be relevant for you. So number one is dress according to your applied role. And I'm putting through the blue color there with some reason because according to color psychology, blue color is a very safe color to dress or to show whenever you are going for first interview or maybe get meeting people for the first meeting. All right. So if you do not know and you think that perhaps black color is too formal for you, get in some elements of blue color in your attires. It could be your ties, it could be your jackets or whatever. It would be a good colors to start off for your dressing code. Number two, speak with positive and energetic tone. In color psychology, yellow always representing joy, hope, enthusiastic and all that. So when you're talking to your interviewer, don't be talking just like you're having a very bad mood. So it'll be really impacting your impression. So talking energetically and also politely would also helps you to be regarded as someone that very positive oriented, very energetic and very enthusiastic people. So when we are hiring for people to our company, we definitely wanted someone who is more cheerful, very positive oriented, rather than, someone who is always moody, right? So, yeah, remember about the yellow color in terms of your positive and energetic tone of voice. Okay, so number three is always maintain positive and open gesture. So if you're going for face-to-face interview, when you work, from the moment you walk into the interviewing rooms, right, until you leave the room, all your body gestures will be observed. And if you're attending the online, maybe like Zoom interview, you will be also observe all the body gestures from you, but mostly at the upper body when your webcam is actually getting that to your side. So you have to always maintain positive and open gesture. So don't try to show the closed arm gesture. Just try to open up as much as you can and try to use more space around you. And when you are talking, just always maintain the eye contact, looking to your web cameras, and also nodding your heads when people are talking to you, so that you maintain that kind of interaction with people. Even though you're online, your eye contact remains too important, right? So after that, for the number four, be honest to your answers. If you're being asked certain question that you don't have an answer with, just acknowledge it and say, I'm so sorry that I wasn't so sure about this, but let me actually get, if you don't mind, I'd like to actually get these questions, and if I can have your email address, I would actually respond to you via a post follow-up email from there. So don't try and pretend that we know everything. Our interviewers are not there to test that we know everything, but rather to test out our behavioral and also our credibility areas of how good we can be trusted. And also, before we end the conversation of the interview, it would be always applicable for us to ask meaningful questions about your futures, opportunities to keep on, continue learning in the organizations, and what would be the organization directions and all that. It could be a few questions that you can ask, and able to show that you are someone that really, mindful and also very strategic about your career plannings and so on. All right, so this is actually for an interview. And if you're ever having some good opportunity to perhaps work as a short term with a company for internship or maybe a temporary contract job, these are the 6 tips that you would like to get from there. Always dress up to show professional side of you. Listen attentively, because listening is so important. All right, and speak up when you need to. So speak up diplomatically. You can speak up to raise your questions, share your opinions. So it's very important for that, and maintain proper etiquette and manner, and also managing expectation. Unlike in study, right, where we are working, we will actually deal with different people from different background and also different personality, and every one of them have different expectation. So we need to be able to manage the expectation differently, and also build up social capital. Whenever we can, don't be calculative or whatever things that we can do more for people, so that we will accumulate this social capital in one day. Whenever we need some help, genuine help from people will have more, they will be more willing to help you, to give you a hand, and that makes a big difference to our whole career and also for business journey. And I would like to use this particular, wrapping up point to conclude, our conversation today. So please start our professional image and brand journey today. Wait no more, but you got to actually start today. But first of all, you will need to know who are you. Because A, B, C, D, right? Every one of us are different. We are good in our own way. So it's very important to know who am I, what am I good at, what is my vision, mission, and also what are the things that I would like to do. Because if we are someone that introvert, right, I won't be asking you to pretend I'm extrovert in order to be seen and to be seen and appreciated. A lot of introvert are also become a very good employee. So know who you are and embrace that is very important. Number two is start nurturing and building your brand because brand cannot be built overnight. It will take time. But when you're building your brands, right, you will go through a lot of bumpy road journeys. So please make sure that you continue to learn by workshop, by webinars, or maybe like engaging certain coach or mentors in your school, your lecturers, getting some masterminds or advocates so that there will be people helping you, guiding you in order to nurture and build up the right brands for you. And lastly, when you are almost ready, please, be bold enough to stand up, to be seen, to be heard, and to be visible. So choose your right platform like LinkedIn in order to build your brands from there. All right. So I think with that, I will be concluding my webinar today, and I just would like to share with you. This is my LinkedIn profile. I create a lot of contents regarding professional image and branding, personal branding, and also helping those corporate professionals to kind of like building their right brands at work to get their promotions or increments and all that. So if you're interested, we can get connected from there for future kind of like cross path in many good way. Thank you so much for the opportunity that given and connected by Mr. Herma and also Mr. Rashali. Thank you so much, and I'll pass back the mic to you.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us your valuable time.
You're welcome, Mr.
It was very informative and nice session, madam. It will surely help our faculties as well as students.
Glad to hear that. Thank you so much for that. Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, very glad, very grateful that I get to know Mr. Herma from LinkedIn. I don't think without LinkedIn, I'm able to get, in touch with Mr. Herma as well. So yeah, LinkedIn is such a good profile that every one of us should invest our professional presence there.
Yes, you have also talked about that point also regarding digital marketing, right? So it comes under this point only. This is the proof of this thing. Yeah, so one question from my end, ma'am.
Yeah.
You talked about that we should always answer honestly, right? During our interview.
Sorry, can you say again?
That we should give honest answers during our interview, right?
Yeah.
So does the honest answer help us every time?
Okay, so I would say it depends on how you say it out as well. So I encountered one situation before that my interviewer many years ago asking me a technical question for accounting related because I was an accountant. I really don't know what is that. So I sincerely apologized and I said, Mr. Koo, I'm so sorry that I don't have a very definite answer for this. But you know what? I think this is so important, and I don't want to miss, answering this to you. Do you mind if I can take back these questions and I will, do some research and I would actually send my response to you to exchange some insight and hope to able to learn from you from this perspective as well. So sometimes it's about how we communicate, to actually turn the situation to favor us instead of just affecting our whole performance. Because sometimes when we are freshly graduate, right, I don't think a reasonable interviewer would expect we know everything under the sky. So I think as long as we are genuine, we are honest, and we are actually kind of like always, show our sincerity, I think situation will be okay. Don't worry.
Yes, but nice answer given by you, ma'am. Yes, we can reply that also. Yes, that will be
Thank you
helpful
so
for
much.
us. Yes.
All
Yes,
right.
yes. So thank you so much, ma'am, for joining with us today and giving your valuable time. And I would like the management of Paru University for motivating and supporting us for conducting such webinars. Thank you, ma'am, for joining with us today.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Thank you so much, everyone, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, ma'am.
Have a good start. Bye.
Bye.